Hi everyone, and welcome to my home here at the Red Brick House. If you're new here, my name is Susan and I like to do different crafts on this channel, and currently I am really enjoying diamond painting, and so that's what we're doing today. I thought I would chat with you a little bit while I work on this canvas right here. This canvas is called Pink Carriage. I purchased it at Michael's. It was part of their Christmas canvases that they had. I've done several Michael's kits in the past and I love them. I think they are great for they're great quality for the price that you pay for them. And this was my first square. I touched on it a little bit in my last video. I have never done squares before, and this was my first one. And I mentioned before I had a little trouble with the glue on this canvas, which has not been a problem with Michael's kits in the past for me. But this particular canvas, I did have a little bit of areas through here that were a little bit thinner, and then areas where the glue was a little bit thicker. So I don't know what happened with this particular one, but that's just my experience with this particular canvas. And so far I've been really liking it. Other than that, it took me a while to get used to placing the squares. I've kind of tried out a few different techniques and I've got more familiar with it, and now that I've worked my way up to the top of the canvas, I'm better at it. You know, every time you do something new, there's always a trial and error of how to do it. And so since this was my first square, it was really quite an experiment in practice, you know. And I have really been enjoying it. I really love all this pink and this gold in here and the white. I love how that looks. I'm getting a little bit nervous though going into these flowers. I also mentioned in my last video that my sister did this kit too, and I've seen hers, you know, pretty much finished. And these flowers are very, even after they're worked up and you put the drills on, they're still very just blurry looking. And so I was kind of disappointed in how it looked, but that's okay. We're going to finish it anyway. I'm really, you know, I'm having a good time working on it, and I like these colors. When I bought this, I didn't think about how dark it was going to be. Or how much confetti was going to be in it. I've been diamond painting for about 1.5 years, and I'm really beginning to learn when I look at an image, you know, what's that going to be like to actually do the work on the canvas before I purchase it, because I can like an image but not want to actually, you know, do this with it. So, but I really do like how it's turning out. I think it looks really pretty. I had a lot of fun doing the blue and the snow down here. There is some AB drills in this Michael's kit. That was new. I have never seen AB drills in a Michael's kit before, so I hope that's something they start doing, and I hope that Michael's will start producing some more images. They're regular images that aren't really holiday related. There's not that many to choose from, so I would really like to see them do a little bit more with that. So I'm gonna get set up and we're gonna work on this corner up here, but I wanted to show it to you before I zoomed it in. So this area, and I might have picked maybe kind of a boring area to work on while filming. It just kind of worked out that way. It might be good though, because if it's too much confetti and I'm trying to talk to you guys, I might totally mess it up. So I am actually kind of glad that there's some like color blocking in here, and maybe I don't have to have so many drills out at the same time while I'm trying to film and talk and do all the things. So anyway, I'm going to set up my drills and get this zoomed in, and we'll get to work, and I'm going to chat with you about last fall season and why I took a long break on YouTube. Okay, I think I have everything set up and I think I'm ready to go. So I'm going to be working in this section right through here. I kind of have you guys sideways, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing without any problem. I had a very hard struggle trying to get set up where you could see me, or see my hand at least, and that I could see what I'm doing. I would love to hear what you all are working on, what kind of canvas you're working on. I felt like this was more of a winter canvas, and so you know, I didn't really feel like it was like exclusively Christmas. I'm kind of having a hard time putting these drills down. It's hard for me to see. I had the hardest time trying to set this up, and I thought sewing videos were hard, but this is terrible. Like, this line is so wonky. And I have found that with squares, if you can get a good straight line going on your canvas, and then you can just follow that line, and it kind of keeps your squares in order, or, you know, straight. But this is going to be hard for me to film and do this. It's going to take a learning curve of making these kinds of videos. Anyway, that's okay. So I hinted around in my last video that I had wanted to tell you all about some things that happened last fall. Now, starting around the beginning of October, or probably mid-October, my cat, my beautiful tortoiseshell calico cat, she's been in lots of my videos because she's just the best little companion. She's always with me, you know, everywhere I go. She's just my little sidekick. And she was diagnosed with a cancerous tumor inside her mouth. And the vet was very frank with me. He told me, you know, he didn't want to sugarcoat it. And I mean, I do appreciate that. You don't want to give people false hope, and, you know, but he told me that most of the time when this occurs, that it is, you know, they can do surgery, or I just let her live out her life until the suffering becomes too much, and then, you know, you put them to sleep. That was my two options. She's quite, and she was an older cat. She was getting up there in age, and we didn't know exactly how old she was, because when we got her, she was a full-grown cat. It's not like she was a kitten or anything, and we had her for at least 11 years. So we don't really know. She could have been like 12 or 13, or she could have been like, you know, 18. I don't know. She had some arthritis and, you know, things like that too. So we did know she was, you know, she was getting up there in years. And, you know, at first I thought, I had kind of decided that we would do the surgery, and then if it comes back, then I would let her go. He told me that most of the time the cancer comes back, even with the surgery. Now, I had taken her to the vet. This was like, I had taken her to the vet multiple times, but I don't know. It was just such a fast-growing cancer. You know, of course, I didn't know she had it until she had symptoms, and the vet told me that she had it. And so it was, I felt like the rug had been pulled out from underneath me, because I just love this cat so much. And I didn't know what to do. So at first I thought we would do the surgery. Now, this vet visit was on a Friday, and I kind of had, you know, the weekend to think about it, and we went ahead and did schedule her for surgery. And, you know, he had told me that oftentimes, almost every time, it comes back. And oftentimes you get in there and you anger it, you cut into it, cut around it, whatever, and it just it comes back worse than before. And I didn't want her to suffer. And so I went home and I thought about it, and I did a lot of research. I looked at a lot of statistics online, and they were terrible. They were not good. They were not good news at all. Most cats, what I had read is that most cats, like, and I'm talking like 90, I don't remember what it was, but it was 90 something % of the time that the cancer comes back. And, you know, I was struggling. I was struggling with the decision of if I put her through surgery. And, you know, surgery in and of itself, especially on an elderly cat, is hard on them. You know, it's tough on them. It's not like it's just nothing. You know, it's hard on them. And I didn't want to put her through the surgery and then it come back and then have to put her to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't want that. And when I was looking at the statistics and that even the cats who have, you know, the tumors removed, even then, 98% of them die within 6 months of having that surgery done. So, you know, did I want to put her through surgery and then only either have the cancer come back and her only live a few more months? It just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't add up. If the odds had been better, you know, that, you know, we could have had the surgery done and then she would live 3 or 4 more years, that would be different, but it was not that scenario. And at least that's not what I read, and that's not how it was presented to me. And the vet we have, he's been doing this for a while, y'all. He's not young. He's up there. He's been doing this for a long time. And I trust his decisions, and, you know, I trust what he tells me. And so I decided, I had called them back and told them that I decided not to put her through the surgery. And I knew that she was suffering, and I knew in my heart that I had to let her go. Now, you know, this was this decision that we made for our family, and it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. You know, when we get pets, we don't always think about these things down the road, and if you've owned pets, you know, it's so hard. So anyway, we said goodbye to her 2 days before Halloween. So Halloween came around. None of us really felt like doing much of anything. We did hand out candy, but that was it. My daughter didn't want to go trick-or-treating, and she didn't want to dress up, and she's getting older, and so I mean, like, I understand. And so we did that. So that was the first thing that kind of happened. And then after that, the very next week, my husband's family came to visit, which was fantastic. It was, you know, they were just such a breath of fresh air, you know, from what we had been dealing with. So it was really great, actually, you know, to have them here. Well, it's always great to have them here, but it was, you know, it was really good. So we had a fun time. We had a fun visit. And then they stayed for 3 or 4 days. And then after they left, like literally the day after they left, I woke up the next morning and I had this nasty cough, like came out of nowhere. I didn't like feel terrible, but I had this just awful cough. And I was like, oh man, I'm sick. And so then I didn't feel good, but I didn't feel terrible. Like I would, you know, like I needed to go to the doctor really. And I'm the kind of person that I tend to, I don't know. I tend to wait to go to the doctor to see if my body can get over it on its own before I go to the doctor. And so now we're kind of like mid-November here. We're leading up to Thanksgiving, and around Thanksgiving, I felt a lot better. I started feeling better. I kind of felt like I was getting over it and like, good, great, no big deal. It's going away. And so Thanksgiving was good. My sister came over, and I had purchased myself and her a mystery diamond art kit just off of Amazon. I don't remember the company, but it was a kit where the whole canvas was white and it just had symbols, and you didn't know what you were making until you finished it, or you know, until you got it put together. And it was so much fun. So, you know, after we ate, we usually celebrate our Thanksgiving around mid-afternoon. And so we did that, and then we watched football, and my sister and I kind of watched football while we did our diamond art painting. And we had a lot of fun. It was a good time. It really was. And then, excuse me, then after Thanksgiving, I started feeling worse again. I kind of started feeling worse with my cold, and I don't really know if it was a cold. I don't know how. I don't know where it came from, but because nobody else got sick. Like nobody else here. My husband's family, nothing. Like just me. It was just me. Maybe I feel like it was maybe due to stress, but anyway, then I started kind of feeling worse, and then I would get better, and then I would get worse, and then I would get better, and then I'd feel worse again, and I just like couldn't get like completely over it. It was kind of weird. It really was a little bit strange, but so going into December, that's kind of how the first week or two went, and because I would get better, and I'd be like, I don't need to go to the doctor, it's getting better, and then I would get worse. So anyway, about the second week of November, my uncle passed away. And this is like kind of the last, I mean, not the last, but you know, he's my dad's brother, and there were only two of them, you know, the only two brothers. And, you know, everybody else from that kind of immediate side of the family has, you know, passed on. So he was kind of the glue, you know, and he was kind of I don't know, he was just, I don't know, he was such a good person. He was always just very, I don't know, like, you would walk into the room, you might not have seen him for like 10 years, and he'd just be like, hi, and give you a big hug, and, you know, how are you doing? And it was just like you talked to him every day, you know, like he was just so friendly and so good with people, and had just had this larger than life kind of personality. And it was really sad. It was sad for us, of course, and it was sad for my cousins, and, you know, here we are right here before Christmas, and you know, so that happened. And you know, I still had this cold, and so my sister, we had to kind of drive. The funeral was not in our town. It's not far away, but it wasn't in our, you know, town, so we had to drive about 30 minutes. And my sister, with all her grandkids and stuff, they had been sick, so she had something different than I did. So she was sick with something, I was sick with something, and here we are going to this funeral, and like trying not to cough, trying not to, you know, be you know, just looking sickly at this funeral. And we managed to get through it. And it was also like drizzly rain and kind of cold, and it was just an icky day. And so, you know, it was tough. It was very tough. So anyway, we got through that. And then on the way home, both of us were talking about going to the doctor, because I was sick and tired of this mess, and I was just like, I'm over it. I don't want to be sick for Christmas, and I'm done. So and she was kind of like, I'm the same way. And she has asthma, so this cold had really kind of irritated, you know, her asthma. And so I was like, you know what, you want to just go now? And so we did. We left the funeral, came back home, and went directly to the doctor's office, and went to the, it's not urgent care, but it's kind of like urgent care. It's, they call it something else, but it's kind of like a walk, you know, it's in the doctor's office, but you can kind of walk in. They have a separate doctor, I guess, set aside for walk-ins or something. I don't know what they call it, but anyway, so we did that. So we go, and, so I'm sitting there and, you know, waiting for the doctor to come in. And then the nurse comes back in, and she's like, we're going to send you next door to get an x-ray, to get a chest x-ray. And I was like, me? Are you sure? Really? You know, like, I was like, I don't think I'm that sick. I don't have pneumonia. I'm just annoyingly sick. And, but anyway, so, you know, they send me across the hall to get a chest x-ray. I had never had a chest x-ray before. I mean, it wasn't a big deal or anything, but it was just like, okay, oh, let's do it then, you know. And so I get back, the doctor's like, oh, your x-ray looks fine. There's no pneumonia and there's no, you know, you don't have any damage to your lungs. And so after talking to him, he was like, yeah, it looks like you have bronchitis. And so he gave me, you know, an antibiotic and a cough suppressant and sent me on my way, you know. And so that went well. I did do much better. I kind of forgot to tell them when I was there at the doctor's office that I'm allergic to like lidocaine and benzocaine and all those things. I cannot have those because I am allergic. And this medication he gave me for the cough suppressant, when I was reading about it, it kind of sounded similar to benzocaine. It was like benzonatate or something like that. But it kind of like numbs your like cough reflexes or something. I don't know. Something like that. I'm probably saying that all wrong. I don't know. But anyway, and I was just, I don't know, it sounded a bit scary. It was like, don't take, you know, make sure you swallow this whole, do not chew it up, and yada yada. You can, you know, it can be fatal in children, keep it away from children. And, you know, I don't know, it sounded a bit scary to me. So I didn't take it. And my cough was mainly in the mornings. It was mainly in the mornings I would get up and cough and cough and cough and cough. And then after that, I would kind of be okay throughout the day. It wasn't that terrible throughout the day, but it was mainly the morning. So I didn't take the cough suppressant. And because here we are, you know, week before Christmas, and a friend of mine is a pharmacist. And so I met up with her. Our girls are both really good friends. And so we met up together for Christmas so we could see each other, you know, during the Christmas break. And we homeschool and they don't. And so we don't always get to see them all the time. So, you know, we get together and I asked her, I was like, can I take this? I was telling her everything that was going on. And I was like, can I take this if I'm allergic? I kind of forgot to tell them. And she was like, you know, she kind of looked it up. She was like, well, let me look at it and make sure. Because I had read like conflicting information on the internet. And so she kind of looked at like some studies and she looked at something and she was like, no, you cannot take that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad I didn't take it. You know. And so anyway, that was kind of funny. I'm so glad I didn't try to take it because that would have been extra drama. And I already had all this drama going on. I felt like I am not one for drama, y'all. I have a really boring life. And so like, I don't know, a lot of things don't really happen. And I like it that way. I like a boring life. I really enjoy it. So anyway, well, leading up to Christmas, I got better, you know, because I was on the antibiotic and it was working and I started feeling a lot better. Got to meet up with my friends, you know, before Christmas. And then our other cat, Stripes. So when I started this channel, I had 5 cats and now we have one, but at this time we had 2. Okay, we had Stripes. My cat Stripes, I don't think he's been really in very many of my videos, but he was diagnosed a long time ago. Like, it's been a while. He has had hyperthyroidism, and we have been treating him with medication and with diet and with he had to have a liver medication as well. He also had some seizures and he also had a tumor. I don't know if it was cancerous or not, but up by his ear on his head, and he couldn't have surgery for it because his organs were not working well enough to filter out, you know, all the anesthetics and stuff that they give them. So he was not a good contender for surgery. And so he had a lot of things going on. Well, we treated him for several years with, you know, hyperthyroidism. And he just, I don't know, he was not really doing very well. He kind of had a cough. And, you know, I had a cough, and so I was like, maybe he's sick. I don't know. So Christmas Eve, I take him into the vet. And the vet, I think the vet kind of felt like it was his problems were due to his situation, you know, his thyroidism and everything that he had. And so it was, you know, he even was kind of like, you know, there's not a lot I can do if I give him medication. He was like, you know, I kind of hate to not give him an antibiotic, because if he comes back over the holiday and he has pneumonia, then he's going to be really sick. And he was like, I'm going to be upset with myself that I didn't prescribe him an antibiotic. He was like, it's kind of counterintuitive with what we're trying to do with his thyroid medication and all that. And so, I don't know. He went ahead and gave him, you know, an antibiotic shot and a anti-inflammatory, like, steroid shot. And his coughing got better, but he quit eating, which was very strange for him. He stopped eating, and the only thing I could get him to eat was those, like, churu, you know, like the tube treats for cats. That's the only thing I could get him to eat. And he just seemed really weak, and because that's the only thing I could get him to eat, he was losing weight. I think he was kind of getting dehydrated. I didn't feel like he was drinking enough water to sustain his problem, because his body just metabolized everything so quickly. And so, you know, we spent Christmas with him. And then, after Christmas, on New Year's Eve, I called them, and I was like, look, he's not doing well. He's not eating like he should. I think he's probably dehydrated, you know, and I was kind of telling him everything. And I was like, I don't know. I knew that he was getting to the end of his life, and he was declining, and pretty quickly. And I was just like, I almost just was, I don't know. I had problems, y'all. I didn't want it to happen. You know, I didn't want to lose him. I just lost Azriel a month or two before, and I just didn't want to lose him that quickly, that soon. And it wasn't really soon, because, I mean, he's been living with this for 5 or 6 years, which is pretty incredible, because most cats with medication and treatment, most cats only live about 3 years after they're diagnosed. And so he lived longer than most, and I felt like we had done everything we could for him. But it, you know, it's just bad timing, but it's kind of how it was. And so, you know, he wasn't doing well, and the vet really didn't have any other options for him. There really wasn't anything else we could do, you know, for him. And so we said goodbye to him on Christmas Eve. And that was just, I don't know, it was just really sad. And I was just, you know, I was trying hard to not be depressed, because, like, all this kind of things had happened, and it was hard. It was hard, but life is hard, you know. Sometimes life is hard. And we, you know, sometimes we just have to do hard things, even though we don't want to. And so, anyway, all this was going on, and I just couldn't make YouTube videos at that time. For one, because after Azriel passed away, her, you know, she was just, like I said, she was my sidekick. She was everywhere with me. And it was just, I don't know, it was too hard for me to make videos and her not be with me, and to make, you know, sewing videos and stuff. And then that's when I turned and focused on diamond painting because, you know, I had a diamond painting going when all this was going on. And I do enjoy it, but it helped me. It helped me a lot to kind of get through this hard time that I was going through. And I'm really glad, you know, that I found something that could, you know, bring me some peace, because, you know, I didn't want to do sewing because she wasn't in here with me. I didn't want to knit really because always before she would be in my lap, you know, and so it was really hard. It was really hard. So I started diamond painting, and because most of the time I diamond paint on my like dinner table, and then I just, you know, put everything away when I'm not diamond painting. And so it really has been quite good for me over this kind of rough time. And also, I didn't want to make videos because I didn't want to seem off. You know how, like, especially I think as women, we can tell when something's off or somebody's just off. And I didn't want to, like, not sound like myself and you to be like, what? She sounds different. I wonder what's going on. You know, I wanted to be able to tell you what was going on. But at that time, I just couldn't. I could not talk about it. I could not deal with it. I just kind of like needed some time to heal, and I did, and I'm feeling better now. Things are a lot better now. So that is the reason why I took a long break from YouTube over the holidays, and I'm hoping that next holiday season will be more fun, because this one was just not. And I don't know. I didn't really get into the decorating. I didn't do a whole lot. We did put up a tree and stuff, but I just didn't feel like doing a lot of like decor and stuff like I normally do and decorating the house. I just wasn't feeling it, so I didn't do it. You know, I just didn't. And so anyway, I am glad. I'm glad to be back, and I don't want this whole video to be a downer. You know, these are things that happen in life, and then you know, I'm still alive, and I gotta keep living, and so, you know, it's time to move on and do new things and try new things and live life to the fullest. We are thinking about, my husband would like to, in the future, he wants a Maine Coon cat. His cat passed away about a year, almost coming up on 2 years. And he wants a new pet. He wants a kitten. And I want to get a corgi. I don't know that that's what I'll get, but I do want a dog. I haven't had a dog since I was a kid, really. And I want a dog. I love dogs and cats. I am not a cat or a dog person. I love all animals right now. I mean, we still have the black cat, and he is my daughter's cat, and he's young. Well, I say young. He's like, I think he's 4 years old. He'll be about 5 years old, coming maybe this spring sometime. We don't know exactly, but he is, you know, he's still with us, and he's something. That cat is. He's wild. He's way more wilder than the other cats that we've had. But we still have him. So it's not like our house is completely empty of pets. But it is, you know, you do miss them. It did feel a lot more like, I don't know, empty. Our house felt very empty for Christmas. But anyway, like I said, I want to get a corgi, and my husband wants to get a Maine Coon. And so that's going to, that will be fun when that happens. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're just kind of, you know, taking it a day at a time. Maine Coons are quite expensive, as it turns out, much more so than a corgi would be, or or another dog. We went to, this weekend, my sister and I went to visit my brother. His birthday is this week. And we went to go see him, and they have a Dachshund. And that little dog, I fell in love with it. It's so stinking cute. And it's so sweet. And he's an older dog, so he doesn't he's not hyper and he doesn't bark, but he does carry his little toy around all over the place. It was so cute. So I was like, maybe I do want a Dachshund. My husband likes Dachshunds, but I always felt like all they did was bark, and I just was like, I don't want a barky dog. I know Corgis can bark too. You know, you have to train them, but I was like, I don't know. But that little dog was adorable, and he was so funny. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with our pet situation. I'm sure we'll probably get more pets because we're just pet people. I don't know. It feels weird not to have, you know, more animals than what we do right now. But it's also nice on the wallet, because we were spending a lot of money on our pets before, you know. Like I said, we've been treating Stripes for 6 years. So that means that we were paying for blood work, and we were paying for 2 different medications, you know, and we've been doing that for 6 years. So it's a lot of money, you know, when you think about it. Okay, I'm almost done with this section right here. I hope that you guys can see it well. Like I said, I had so much trouble trying to set up for this video. Oh, more so than I've ever had. I probably would be better if I used my phone to film, but my phone, I don't know, something happened. I got a new computer, and when I plugged my phone into it, the first time was fine, but after that, it will not recognize my phone anymore. I told it to trust the computer and everything, and then it just like goes away, and you can't access it. I don't know why that happened. Oh, I missed one. Oh, I missed one right there. It's a good thing I have not put it away yet. Don't you hate that when you're doing this, and then like you think you're done, and then you do another color and you realize that you're not done? But that's okay. So anyway, like I said, I don't want this video to be too much of a downer, but it is, you know, it's life. That's what happened. And so, now that that's over with, I am planning to make more diamond art related videos. I have 2 very special kits I mentioned in my last video that I am dying to show you. I think they're going to be so cool. I had to tell you the story first before I can unbox those and show them to you. So, I don't know. Do I tell you? Should I tell you? Should I give you a teaser and tell you what they are? I kind of want to, but then I kind of want to save it. So, there will be a video coming soon. I did finish my little Amazon abstract landscape kit. So, that one I'm going to kit down soon and show you what I'm going to do with my leftover drills. So that's going to be happening soon, and that's exciting. And so anyway, that's what's to come. So I hope that this video hasn't been too boring. I hope that things are going good with you in your life, and I hope that you will join me next time for some more chatting and talking and enjoying diamond art. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.